Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be ranking every single dungeon in Breath of the Wild from worst to best. So within Breath of the Wild, you can basically go and do any of the dungeons in any order, and you can even go to Hyrule Castle right after you've beaten the Great Plateau. And in terms of dungeons, Breath of the Wild doesn't really have that many. It has about the same amount of dungeons as Majora's Mask. So I'll just be going over I'll just be going over every single dungeon, including the Champion's Ballad dungeon, being the fifth Divine Beast, and I'll just be ranking them from worst to best. So depending on the way that you go through the Divine Beasts, how to activate the terminals, the bosses that you have to fight in each one, that whole thing. So starting off with number 6 is Divine Beast Meadow. Now, in terms of the other Divine Beasts, I feel like Meadow is probably the easiest one to basically beat, because it's basically because I feel like all the puzzles you do are simple, quite easy to do, and I feel like that's what it is. It does in Meadow, and also I think that Windblight Ganon is probably the easiest blight out of all the other blights to basically beat, because it doesn't really do that much attacking. The only thing it does is basically just hit you with some tornadoes and some laser beams, and also uses those spike propeller type things. I don't know exactly what they are, but yeah, it doesn't really feel that threatening to me for Windblight Ganon. I do like the ability that you get from Rivali, though. That's like the only good ability, one of my favourite abilities, well, my favourite ability in the game, which is Rivali's Scale. But apart from that, I feel like Meadow is basically the easiest Divine Beast to beat. For number 5 is Divine Beast Varuta. Now, I do like Ruta and the way that she's introduced in the story. She has feelings for Link, and she made the Zor armor for him. But with Varuta, I feel like it's an okay. It's a lot better than Meadow. But it's like you have to change like the waterfall, and basically just try and make sure you rotate the things, and it's good. And also Waterblight Ganon, somewhat interesting, but in the second phase it raises up platforms in the water, and that is probably the annoying part of the boss fight, just because it keeps on moving about the area. And I know you can stay on one platform and just hit Waterblight Ganon with your arrows or your swords or your weapons or whatever, but it can get annoying if you're trying to focus your shot on Waterblight Ganon, and then he changes position, and you have to in turn try and find out where he's going to go and see which platform he's going to land on. For number 4 is Hyrule Castle. Now, with Hyrule Castle, I do enjoy the whole large scale it is compared to the other Divine Beasts, and also the dungeon as well. Mainly because you can go around finding a lot of good weapons, good with swords, good spears, shields, bows, that sort of stuff. And also, I do like the memory that you can find there, which is the father-daughter memory, where Zelda is speaking about the Guardians and her sealing ability with her father, and that's a really good ability. And I also enjoy a lot of the other stuff that you can do in Hyrule Castle, apart from beating Calamity Ganon, and that's going and beating all of the mini bosses, those being the Lionels, the Stalnox, and the Stone Telos. I feel like those battles are really well put together and really well placed. The only thing that puts this down to where it is the boss fight with Calamity Ganon. Now, with Calamity Ganon, it is quite easy if you have all of the divine beasts shooting their laser beams to the center of Hyrule Castle, and that kind of ruins the battle a bit. It would have been nice if, for like the first half, Link was fighting Calamity Ganon, and then when Calamity Ganon's health got halfway, all of the divine beasts would just unleash their power into Calamity Ganon, and then they would finish the battle. That's how I would personally do it, because like that, to me, the boss fight just felt a bit easy. The second phase of the Calamity Ganon boss fight with Dark Beast Ganon, that to me was a lot better, because not by a lot though, because even though it's still technically easy and you rarely get hit by Dark Beast Ganon's attacks, to me I feel like the second phase of the boss fight is a lot more better than the first phase of the fight. For number 3 is Divine Beast Pharaoh Dania. Now, what I like about Divine Beast Pharaoh Dania is that the first part of the dungeon is that you're completely in darkness, and you have to basically bring fire to like different torches around the Divine Beast, and then later you can open the overhatcher things, you know, the things where the Scout Guardian things went. And yeah, I do enjoy like the whole lava sort of like trying to get from one place to the next, and you have to try and like, you know, try and like figure out which ways to do that. And yeah, and also with the Divine Beast, no, with Fireblade Ganon, it kind of reminds me of the fight kind of reminds me of King Dodongo, where, because like in the second phase of the Fireblade Ganon fight, it basically creates not only a shield, but also it brings in fire to do this like very powerful fireball attack, and that kind of reminds me of King Dodongo. Hopefully, King Dodongo returns in the sequel. I really like King Dodongo. I think he's a really cool boss fight in the Zelda game that he's appeared in, and yeah, and I feel like the design for Fireblade Ganon is like, you know, really cool, and I think it suits the Divine Beast quite well. For number 2 is the Champion's Ballad Divine Beast. Now, I quite like this Divine Beast. I think this is quite an interesting one, because it has like all of the elements that had been in the previous Divine Beast. Like you've got a fire room, you've got a water room, you've got an electric room, you've got an air room, those sort of things, and they kind of represent all the other Divine Beasts. And after you've beaten each room and activated one terminal from each room, you'll have one unlocked to the final door, to where you fight the final like true boss, that being the final monk. Now, what I like about the boss fight in this Divine Beast is that this is a lot better, a much better final boss than Calamity Ganon is, because with Calamity Ganon, that's quite easy, because like if you have all the Divine Beasts, then they can attack him, and then but with the monk from the 5th Divine Beast, he is a lot tougher to beat, because his health doesn't go down as fast as Calamity Ganon's one, and you do have to like use all of your weapons and armor and stuff that you have used throughout the game, and try and make sure that you A, don't get hit, and B, try and outmaneuver all of the monk's attacks. Like he can do like, you know, create like copies of himself, he can throw metal balls at you, and he can basically just do a ton of stuff. And I do like the reward you get from him, which is the Master Cycle Zero bike, which is quite cool, and it's probably one of the best runes on the Shaker Slate. And for number 1 is Divine Beast Vanaboris. Now, what I really like about Vanaboris is that to me it feels the most like a Divine Beast, and that's because of its like themes. Because like because it runs on electricity, that to me feels like the most Divine Beast kind of one, in terms of, oh, you had to manipulate the electricity to make the Divine Beast rotate parts of itself and try and get to all the different terminals. And I feel like that the boss in this Divine Beast, that being Thunderblade Ganon, is probably the best Divine Beast Blight out of all of the other ones, because this one with Thunderblight Ganon, it basically zips around the Divine Beast and just zips about, and I feel like that's really cool, because you have to predict when it's going to attack and how fast it's going to go, and like see when it's going to like try and attack you, and you have to parry it. And I really do enjoy the boss, and I feel like that Divine Beast Thunderbolt is probably the best dungeon in the whole of Breath of the Wild. So that's been my ranking video of ranking every single Divine Beast. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.